Hello YouTube, this is Jericho Majors coming back to do another review of Doctor Who, this time of Episode 6, Season 8, The Caretaker. Now, I'm just going to start off and say a couple things that are kind of about the episode, to kind of get it out of the way, not be negative the whole time. Really the only thing I didn't like about this episode was the underplayed villain or creature, the Skovax Blitzer, which, just right out of the gate, I'm just gonna say he was kind of underplayed. It could have been cooler, could have been different. Anyway, let's start off just with like beginning to the rest of the episode. So at the beginning of the episode, we get this really cool like little montage of the Doctor's and Clara's little adventures that they go on off screen, and I always love seeing that. I always love seeing little hints of that. They did that with Matt Smith a couple times and Amy Pond, just kind of alluding to all of these cool things that they're doing. And I love seeing that because, honestly, there are some stories that we can't see on screen, or, you know, it kind of just lets us know that they're still doing really cool things that we don't really know about. And it's kind of putting a strain on Clara and Danny's relationship. Now, Danny is still unaware of the Doctor and who he is. But anyway, the Doctor is like, just shows up and he's like, oh, we're not doing anything. I'm going undercover. And she's like, why? And this kind of this little funny altercation. And I kind of find it strange that he had to show up like he was going to take her somewhere to tell her that they weren't going to go anywhere. I thought that was a little strange, but I didn't let it bother me. Anyway, of course, he goes to be undercover at the Coal Hill school that she teaches at. And it's kind of funny because he's like, you recognize me through my disguise. And he's just wearing a different coat. And it's kind of funny. He's still, in this episode, he's wearing that sweater again that I love so much. I love that sweater. It's so cool. Kind of doing regular caretaker things around the school, and it's kind of funny to see. I heard one reviewer say, you know, oh, we just keep getting these antics of the Doctor being funny. And honestly, I don't see why that's a problem. I would rather see that 10 times over than see the Doctor be romantic and sexual. I honestly love seeing him do random, everyday things like a person, while, you know, planting these little trackers around, or whatever they were, that just kind of trans-dimensional scanners, techno-babble, whatever. We get to see him more and more just be this freaking, like, crotchety old man, and I love it so much. Whenever this girl from the school who's a troublemaker kind of stumbles into his place to get towels or whatever, and he's just like, the sign says don't come in here, and it says keep out humans, and he's like, yeah, never lose your temper in the middle of the sign. It's like, it's kind of funny. I'm honestly loving every minute of Peter Capaldi. He's really good. But then he kind of gets, the Doctor kind of gets confused about Clara's boyfriend, thinking that, you know, it's someone else who has a bow tie and, you know, kind of crazy hair and looks vaguely like Matt Smith. I guess he's supposed to. That's the joke, is that he's like, oh, it reminds me of myself. And, you know, there's still a lot of heartthrobs for Matt Smith that kind of can't get over him. And I felt like that was a funny little thing, kind of allusion to that. It was nice to see. But then we get an introduction to the monster, or the creature, or robot, you know, whatever you want to call it, like I said, called the Skovax Blitzer. Which I'm honestly getting tired of, not just Peter Capaldi, but the Doctor in general in this series, or not the series, but this new. He's kind of done it before, not as bad as in the last couple of years, but every time something shows up, he just inflates it to this high level. Like, he just says it's the most dangerous killing machine in the universe, or in the galaxy, and he's just like, it's the most dangerous thing you could ever imagine. And honestly, it's not. It's just a killer robot. I mean, that's bad, but it's a robot that shoots at you. It doesn't teleport. It doesn't, you know, morph into humans trying to trick them. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't do anything really spectacular. That's the end of that. I mean, he's not really that threatening. That's why I say I kind of have a problem with him a little bit. So, we also get this kind of little humorous altercation between the Doctor and Danny, where he keeps thinking that he's a PE teacher, and he just won't get that out of his head, and Danny's like, no, I teach math, I teach arithmetic. The Doctor's like, why do you do that on the side whenever you're not a PE teacher? And he's like, I'm not a PE teacher. And he goes, but you said you were in the army, and whatever. So it's kind of funny. And then obviously Danny kind of starts poking around and stumbles upon the doctor doing his thing, and Clara rushes in, and the Skovok Splitzer is there, and Danny's kind of freaking out. He's like, what's going on? And the doctor, it's kind of like Danny kind of messes it up, and the doctor's freaking out on him, and it's like, why'd you fuck it up? Yeah, just like that. Then Danny gets introduced to the TARDIS. I don't think he goes in the first time. I think he just sees the outside of it, and the doctor kind of explains what it is, and Clara explains what she's been doing and how he knows him, or how she knows him, and Danny's kind of like weirded out and just like, okay, alright. And it's said that they have like 3 days until the Skovox comes back, and he needs to figure out something before then, because it's already figured out what he was going to do in the first place. So then they have this kind of parent-teacher conference thing where the Skovok shows up, obviously, and Doctor goes and he makes this Ghostbusters backpack thing and is chasing it around the school, or it's chasing him around the school. And I forgot to say this. The Doctor gets this like invisibility watch thing, which is kind of alright. I mean, it feels like it was kind of shoehorned into this episode. That's why I kind of forgot about it, because it's just like, oh, okay, I guess it's an invisibility watch. And then that's how Clara gets Danny onto the TARDIS, but the Doctor knows immediately that someone's there. And then him and Danny have this fight that is amazing. And Danny's just like a total ass. And I mean, the Doctor's always an ass, but not really like too much. I mean, he's enough of an ass that if I met someone in a coffee shop that acted like him, I'd just be like, okay, cool. Whatever. I wouldn't just be like, you're a soldier, that's what you are. You're a general, you just sell orders. And Danny's just like, yes sir! Just like fucking like mocking him and yelling at him. And honestly, I understand why the Doctor doesn't like him, because I've never seen Danny act like that before. But if he's gonna act like that when he's mad, it's kind of annoying. Honestly, I mean, it wasn't really warranted. I understand that he wants Clara to be safe, but the way he acted was very self-indulgent. Anyway, they get the Skovox, and he's like, got the thing, and he has this thing that's supposed to like simulate like he's a Skovok Splitzer, and then he's like trying to figure out how to give it commands, which kind of alludes back to whenever Danny was like, you're the guy that gives the commands, you're the general. And you know, it was a nice little kind of callback within the episode. And then Danny pulls this shit, like this thing that I kind of have a problem with Doctor Who sometimes, when you try to be like an action movie. And Danny does this like ridiculous front flip over, or back flip like over the Skovok Splitzer. And then the Doctor's like, ooh. And then Danny's like, yeah, I just saved the world. I'm like, no, you didn't. You distracted the Skovox. Cool. I mean, that's not really... the Doctor was the one that saved the world. Sorry, you didn't do much. I don't know. I feel like they just needed Danny to have proved himself to the Doctor, and they could have done it in a lot cooler way. And I don't mean cool as in cool. I mean cool as in interesting, developed, kind of layered. They could have had something else besides doing a ridiculous, hey, I'm over here, and then doing a back flip over, or front flip over the Skovox. I just didn't like that very much. Then the Doctor brings on the little troublemaker kid while he dispatches the Skovox, and she's kind of, I mean, she's alright, she's a kid. I would be interested in a new kind of companion. I know she's probably not going to be a companion, but I just want to see someone different. I don't want to keep seeing a 20-something, feisty, all over the place, emotional girl. I mean, I want to see like a kid. That'd be cool. Or someone older. It'd be great to see someone older as a companion, or a guy, or just something different. I just really want to see something different, because I feel like Peter Capaldi deserves something different. But yeah, I mean, there's not too much else to say about this episode besides they were trying to develop Danny more, and him and the Doctor's relationship, and the kid I don't remember her name. I'll show you a picture. But overall, I give this episode a C. I think I honestly gave the other episodes too high of a rating because, I mean, I have the whole A to D for A to F, and I gave them like B's and A's because I didn't want to seem too harsh. But honestly, the ones that I gave B's, I now consider C's, and the ones I give A's, I now consider B pluses. But yeah, so my review for the next episode after this one will be up shortly. So calm down, I'm making them. Sorry it's taking a while. See you later. Bye.